Hello. Hello. Hi.
Hi. All I hear is eating and no sound.
You hear me eating?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So deafen does nothing. Got it. I need to figure out where this extra sound is coming from. Am I doubling anywhere?
Not that I hear.
Okay. Hmm. Hey, everybody. This is
Hey,
laugh.
hey!
This is
Hey,
Laughing
there we go.
Corpses. We are a action live play that will be Spelljammer and Radiant.
Oh, now we're. Oh, I have it up.
Journey to the Radiant Citadel. And we are doing character intros in a slightly different way, where we're spending one session working on a specific character. So that we can all learn a little bit more about how these characters function. I have a large group of really unique individuals, folks I love, and I will go through those folks now. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hi.
Good. Hey.
Hello.
Hi, hi. Okay.
Hello!
So let's do some introductions. Just your name and the type of character you're looking at playing. Some of you we're still working on it, so you don't need character names or anything, but just kind of like what you're looking at playing. We are down 2 players tonight. One is working at Ren Fair, and one just went to the Ren Fair. So uh, it will be the 6 of us this evening, or 7 of us this evening. I do have some bookkeeping I'll do, but after introduction. So let's go ahead and start with you, Mark.
Hi, my name is Mark. I am currently wondering who this Ren person is and why they're so fair. And I'm playing Nourrit des Miz, who is a human chef.
Okay. Justin.
Hey, everybody, I'm Justin. I will be playing a yet-to-be-named Warforged Ranger.
Okay. Nice, nice. Tyler.
Hello, I'm Tyler. I'm going to be playing a bugbear monk named Kuruk.
um, Crow.
I'm the Crow Dad. I am playing Keck, who is a Thrycreen fighter.
And if you didn't see the kind of vignette style opener that we did last week, that's available on Twitch and YouTube, and that shows the character that Crowdad's going to be playing. Shank. Jimbo.
Hey everybody, I'm Jim. Most people around here call me Shank, and I'm playing the Goblin Alchemist.
Nice, nice. Megan.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm playing the Pixie Sorcerer, and I'm bad and have not worked on my character more yet.
I'm gonna be setting up a call where we can work on your 3 characters, so we can get those knocked out and start some more deep dives. Um, Tyler's already sent me a bunch of stuff of homework for me to work on too, so I'm getting through that and making some notes. But we'll get together and finish your guys' characters up. It's not a problem. We have plenty of time. So for bookkeeping, I'm gonna go to the table. I was once gifted even more rings with even more colors, and so these are approximate colors of the rings, the metal rings I got in. We also have plastic rings that tend to be a little bit darker without the metallic ring around them. Mark, you pointed to a blue and said, "This is the one I want."
And it looks
I think this
almost
was
like
the one.
black.
Oh, that
Yeah.
was the one? That one?
Yeah, maybe that one. Yeah, I think it was that one.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
that totally works for me.
regardless
As long as
of which one you chose in person, this is what it looks like on camera. So which one would you like on camera?
probably the top right one. It is not black. The one in the top right is not black, right?
No, it is
Okay.
very, very dark blue.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Then.
Okay. All right. Get those off the board. Yeah. Okay. Get these off the board. Get that off the board. I'll clean all that up later. There. There. Okay. All right. I'm gonna get back to you guys. Yes.
Real quick
Justin.
before we start, did you want to clear the Discord chat off of this view, or?
Oh, yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate
No
it.
worries.
Well seen, friend. Well seen. Okay. Just with a raise of hands, who's interested in playing NPCs tonight?
I'll do
I
it.
can.
Noted,
I'm
Mark.
blurred.
Okay.
I can if other people aren't willing to.
Okay, so it looked like Megan and Tyler were good waiting for future.
I
Or-
could try if you really need me, but
I'm in the same boat. I'll do it if you need me to. I do not mind.
I don't have a problem doing it.
Yeah.
I've never
okay.
done it before, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me pull up the notes. So the idea with these games is, and I know I'm speaking to the choir because you guys have heard this spiel 100 times, but the idea for these is that we get into some of the background, meat and potatoes of who these characters are, so that the player whose focus week it is can get some RP started with their character and see if there's anything they'd like to change before the big game where everybody comes together. These are kind of like the Marvel movies where you had Captain America or Iron Man having their movie first before everybody comes together as the Avengers. And so the idea is each of these is going to flow differently depending on the notes I got from the player and what I've written up for them, and how all of that is going to work. So I am going to let the dog out really quick, and then we will get started. I'm the only person here in the house, so
Who?
are you?
Let the dog out?
Who?
Who? Who?
I don't have the throatal range for Mongolian throat singing, so that's not me.
No, that's you, not who.
I'll be right back.
Okay. How was everyone's weekend?
Amazing.
Not too bad.
I have no idea why you didn't have time to work on your character, Megan. Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know. Busy person.
Lagging it.
Did anybody cook anything super good for Memorial Day?
I smoked a T-bone.
Nice.
It was very good.
I grilled a tomahawk steak.
Nice.
That sounds delicious.
The bone was so large, I didn't think the grill was going to close. I felt like I was Fred Flintstone.
Yeah, I was gonna say pulling a Fred
Yeah,
Flintstone.
that was exactly what it felt like for real.
That's awesome.
Except when it caught on fire.
Oh,
So I had to turn the heat down just a little bit. But it turned out really good. So
we didn't make it for Memorial Day, but we made some like a bulgogi beef
oh, nice.
peppers, and it was good.
Yeah, that's always good.
Okay.
Dan, what'd you have for dinner?
I am 2 pieces of cheese and 4 fries.
That I didn't realize you were turning into a bachelor when you went home. Now I feel bad.
It's because Naomi's not home.
At least it's not cheese puffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who eats that?
Naomi's
Garb.
not home, which is true. And I've been working on your gaming stuff and completely lost track of time. And then when I looked up, I went, "Oh crap! It's 6 o'clock." All right. Okay. So I tried pronouncing your character's name several times, and it is
Yes.
very difficult for me, which is fine because you also included a nickname. How would
Yes.
you pronounce that nickname?
New.
Good, because that's how I've been pronouncing it.
Sorry, I put the phonetic guide in the notes, the actual notes.
But perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, but his name is pronounced Nourrit Lame
Okay.
Desami.
Jeez, Mark.
What? I mean, it's French.
I would expect no less.
All right. We're going to go ahead and get started. I have a lot written down. But to be fair, I had a lot written down for the last week's too, and you guys sidestepped one of the major combats through totally applicable quick thinking. So I'm forcing this combat. Not really, but seriously.
Let's go.
Let's go.
It's a good thing I made him a combat character.
Okay. We begin.
Combat Cutlery, brought to you by Mark Bodanik.
Yep. I would love if I had that capability to make advertisements for the break that were based on funny things from the game.
I think if you just stopped ever funny, it's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we start in a dungeon where many things don't necessarily start, but they do end. The sounds of battle, the smell of blood and worse. There are cries in the darkness, echoing through the rough-hewn walls. Also, growling, snarling, and what sounds like something slithering against something else none too pleasant. We see New. Describe your character, please.
He is about 5'6". He's got brown, thick hair that is neatly kempt on his head, but he's sporting almost I think that's the Snidely whiplash, if you will, the really long mustache that twirls in up at
That's
the end.
well manicured.
Yes, well manicured, and then it's a full goatee, but it comes to a point down at the bottom.
Okay.
And he's wearing white adventurer's gear for the most part that is accented with purple. And instead of just trousers. He also has a brown and white leather apron that's that's kind of doubled down, so it's not over his neck like the top part normally would be. It's doubled down, and
Is
actually
it
tucked in.
capable of doing that? So it is
It
a
is.
normal apron. He just doesn't
It
wear
is
it that
normal,
way. Yeah.
but it's a leather apron, almost like you'd see a iron worker.
Yeah,
wearing.
iron or butcher. Yeah.
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 Heavy duty apron.
Yes.
And you said in addition to, not instead of pants.
Yes. In not instead of, in addition to. That's correct.
We
Thank goodness.
see New huddled in a small space in the dungeon. It's dark and the smells are not pleasant. Growing up and being around so many pleasant smells as a chef, and in those chef areas, this is even worse for you because of your heightened senses in those areas. You understand now where the joke is that you've heard all over about where are the bathrooms in the dungeon. This dungeon is also a bathroom. Screams.
Is it
Go ahead.
literally in the sewers?
It's not in the sewers. You traveled
Okay.
several days to get here, but it does smell that way. The smells from everything mingle together in a milieu you do not want to experience or take with you. Screams and the gnashing of teeth, sounds of combat echo in the chamber. You are kind of folded back underneath a set of stairs coming down, and you peek out from your hidey hole, looking across the empty room in front of you, and you can make out you're human, right? Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
You make out shapes in the dark, but not much. The wizard that had your light source went with the creature hunting it into one of the further rooms, and every once in a while you can see a flicker of that light down a hallway. But you are here in the dark, huddled underneath. We see you peek out, and then we cut to a young man, eager and headstrong. You are in an open air kitchen. You're probably 11 or 12. There are 4 other young people. There is 2 girls, two girls, and an elf that is agender, and all of you are dressed the same as sous chefs, but not the best sous chefs, right? This is not a 5-star restaurant. This is a family-owned restaurant that has focused on maybe 3 recipes its entire time for the past several generations. And you are being yelled at. Everything has paused in the kitchen. The other sous chefs, the other young people, are paused in their duties, staring at you as you are being dressed down by the main chef, whose name is on the door out front. And you are legitimately confused. Why did you do that? You should not have left this kitchen looking like that. That plate looked nothing like the recipe.
I am sorry I made what you showed me.
You made changes.
I blink for a moment and I go back through the recipe in my mind.
There was a couple things you changed because the way they were doing it did not. There were ways they could activate more flavor by crushing the pepper instead of chopping the pepper. And you didn't think it looked that different, but when you had tasted it as instructed, it was more like an 8, where this dish is usually a 3.
I will say, I am sorry. Did you taste it, my chef?
I don't need to taste it. It was my great-grandmother's recipe. I know how it tastes. We have had no complaints. In 200 years we have served that dish.
Would you try?
He angrily turns around and scoops up the pan with a slosh, dumping half of the sauce across the kitchen, because why wouldn't he? He doesn't have to clean it up. Flourishes a spoon almost sarcastically, dips it and puts it in his mouth, and his eyes go wide. And his mouth drops for a second, and you can see he's still angry, but he's trying to figure out a way to get out of the situation without making himself embarrassed. 1 second. Justin,
Yes.
how do you feel about playing a boisterous, kind of loud but respectful character? Just kind of jovial, happy, knows what he's doing.
Yeah. I think I can get away with it.
Okay. Dang it. I just let you out. I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
Justin, he just got you the role, and now he needs to let you out again.
Dang. Back in the doghouse.
So, Crow and Shank, I assume you did not watch the pay-per-view last night.
I only saw the final match.
I've been catching up on it today, but I'm not done with it yet.
That is probably the most nuts show I've ever been to. Not that I've ever been to, that I've ever watched. I'm not going to say any more, Shank, to preserve your viewing experience, other than wrestling is better than every other hobby.
That final match was bonkers.
That's why I'm saying that.
Yeah. Oh, when I saw Ken's clip of I don't want to say because
Yeah.
if Shank hasn't seen it. But.
Yeah.
I was the silly one. I gave him a small, tiny piece of cheese earlier. And water, so now he has to use the restroom every 5 minutes, hoping for more cheese.
I was going to say that she should have blocked him right up.
It was really small. Oh, okay. Justin, you're going to be playing a character named Terror Firebelly. You are a terror, like I'm afraid of you, terror.
Mm-hmm.
Firebelly, who is a flame Aasimar. That's like somebody who has angelic blood in their bloodline, and it sometimes comes out in how the fire sometimes comes out in how they look. And how did you picture him, Mark?
Like, probably like if Hagrid was on fire.
That's kind of how I pictured him too. Yeah. So, the hair on your arms and hair and beard move almost on their not almost on their own. They move on their own, mimicking fire, and in the right light, it looks identical to fire. It doesn't burn anyone, which is part of that illusion, but that doesn't mean it hasn't in the past. You are essentially a boisterous Alton Brown. You know everything about food. You're a really well-to-do chef. You're known across several kingdoms. You own several restaurants, and you're kind of this. You came to this small family restaurant because you're a regular here, and you're a regular at a lot of restaurants. You eat a lot of food. You're a big dude that loves food and loves your job.
Okay.
You're currently wearing a kind of cream-colored button-up shirt that has, it's a shirt, it's tucked in, but it also has an apron attached to the shirt. And the shirt, while it looks like a button-up shirt, it's actually a chef's jacket. So it's made of a thicker material, thicker flame retardant material. Sleeves are rolled up to the elbow, and you have various neat tattoos where they're almost iridescent orange. Where when you move, they almost look like they're flickering across your skin.
All right.
You are pushing your way. Go ahead, Mark.
I just wanted to say, can I take a quick action from where we were at
Oh.
before?
Sure.
I would actually go and start cleaning up the floor.
Okay, so you immediately move. He's trying to back his way. The chef's trying to back his way out of putting himself in the corner. You can see it behind his eyes, and you immediately drop and start cleaning up the mess. As
Yes.
you drop and grab the small hand mop and rags to start cleaning it up, a large man with fire-like hair and beard pushes his way into the kitchen. Justin, you have been coming here for years and trying these 3 things on the menu, hoping for change. It's not like you came here to clean out their kitchen, like kitchen nightmares, but
Mhm.
you've been here, you go to a lot of restaurants hoping that something will change, and something has. You have just had some of the best curry you've had in years, and it came from this place, which is like a 2-star place you were stopping on your way through. And so you want more information and possibly to congratulate the chef and that kind of thing. Go ahead.
I'll walk in. I'll just bust in kind of blatantly. Who's in charge here?
Mr. Firebelly, you can see he's an older man, tan skin. This is an open air restaurant and an open air kitchen, so obviously the sun has definitely helped with his tan. But he immediately bows deeply to you. You recognize his features. You've been coming here for a couple of generations now, and you've seen the generations coming and going, so you recognize him as the most recent of the line of Lin, Lin. And he bows deeply. I'm sorry if the changes or we have upset you.
Oh, and just really quick, what's this head chef's name?
So as far as you can tell, all of the chefs that own this restaurant have called themselves Chef Lin, Lin.
Chef Lin. Okay. All right. So you're Chef Lin now, yeah?
Yes, of course, sir, yes.
You're in charge this time? All right. Who's responsible for this?
One of my lessers. He will be punished accordingly, and very soon. I'm so sorry.
Punished?
And he steps back, and you can see Chef Lin starts reaching for. It's almost like the size of a pizza paddle, but it's a wooden spoon on the end, probably used for cooking large meals. Though, to your well-trained chef eye, you don't see any pans that would fit for a spoon that large. So it's obviously for something else.
Okay, I'm gonna immediately, if they're grabbing that and turning that, I'm gonna grab that in midair in their hand and be like, "What are you doing?"
I'm sorry. I'm ensuring that
You're punishing someone for this?
He looks.
What is wrong with you? You shouldn't be in charge. Who's responsible for this?
He looks confused. Chef Lin looks super confused. And
I have stopped moving completely.
he looks super confused, and almost as like a side thought, he looks down on the corner, like down to the ground, someone you hadn't seen because he was down behind the cabinet. You saw the four other, I mean, children. He has children as his sous chefs. You see, they're standing there in shock. Some of them halfway through preparing something, and there's one on the floor. You're not sure what he was doing, but he is frozen like a deer in headlights. And that's who Chef Lynn just kind of side-eyed without trying to side-eye.
Gotcha. All right. Is this yours?
He's asking
I'll-
you.
I'll approach and I'll look over at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You make this?
We chef.
I've been coming here for however many years. This is the 4th generation I've been coming here, and you're telling me
He
you're gonna punish me
nods.
for this?
He nods slowly, like trying not to move as much as humanly possible because he looks obviously.
I'll step away, letting go of the wooden paddle, and like step over to you.
It
Be
clatters to the ground. Yeah.
This was the best dish I've had in this town in 30 years. If anyone here is gonna punish you, they need to. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. You're doing good. Yeah.
Sorry, my headset started getting crazy. This is the best dish I've had in 30 years. If this person's gonna punish you for this, then you need to get out of here. There's no way you need to stay here making this.
And
I'll look back over here.
that's when,
Oh, go ahead.
Justin, that's when you have an amazing idea. You have never had an apprentice. And some of your fellow chefs that are around your skill level have kind of joked with you about it when you guys meet up for your annual trip. They've joked with you that your skill and your knowledge hasn't been passed down and you've never felt the need to, but something is whispering to you that maybe it's time for a change.
Okay, I'll pause momentarily and I'll turn back over to Chef Lynn. You call this person your apprentice a waste. It's about time someone in this town has been able to take on some real cooking, some real skills. This is the first time I've ever had anything like this. This person, I don't want. They're your apprentice no more. I turn over to
New? Yeah.
New. What's your name, boy?
Chef, my name is Nourrit.
Chef New. Are you happy here?
You see a range of emotion across his face, multiple in the span of a second and a half, and you can tell he's being very judicious with his words. He says, "My lodging and my meals are provided for, and I have the opportunity to cook."
You like to cook, eh?
We shall.
Well, that's what I like to hear. You better not stop that. You better be able to make more of this. Whatever this was, this is it.
We
I'll
shall.
turn back over to Chef Lynn. Like, this apprentice is mine. I'll take care of their lodging, food, whatever they need. I will not allow you to waste the talent such as this in this kitchen. I've been coming here far too long, expecting more of you, Chef Lynn the Fourth. However many Chef Lyns. You haven't been able to deliver like this. I will take care of you. They will be my own. I will relinquish you of whatever responsibility you have, and I'm going to take them under my wing.
and he's torn because uh, it's he's had a confusing 10 minutes, and he's not sure how to best move forward with this information, but he essentially lumps it all into, uh, yes, of course, sir. You there, and he's pointing at you, New. He
Mhm.
says, you heard the man. Go pack your bags.
He stands up, brushes off his thing, his clothes, and says, "I'm ready."
You're
Chef,
coming with me.
yeah, Chef Lynn,
I'll be back.
I'll be back. Does a kind of like a side look at you, New, as if just saying "I'm ready" was gonna get him in trouble, and then he says, "Yes, of course. You and you clean up this mess," and essentially turns around and pretends that neither of you exist in his kitchen for the moment, as he's getting orders and sous chef started back up on preparation for the people that are still sitting out there. So you guys have this like moment of clarity between you off in the kitchen where you're kind of the only two people there.
And very, very faintly, you hear him almost whisper, "Mercy."
I'm gonna make sure you don't waste another day in a kitchen like this. Let's get you comfortable. And I'll kind of go to guide him out of the kitchen.
As you leave the kitchen, New, since coming to this small town, which is just down the road from home, you thought for a while you had hope that you would be able to reach higher standards, and this slip of the hand in preparing an ingredient differently that came to you as second knowledge. You forgot you had done it until you went back through the recipe, has just opened up a door for you. And you understand what that means for your future, and you're able to weigh that against it. You are very observant. And that's one of the things that you are picking up about the situation itself. As you're led through by this chef that you have essentially only heard of in legends, because you aren't allowed to leave the kitchen in when this is happening, right? You've essentially only heard of this person in legends. He's now leading you out almost like stories you've heard, fairy tales you've heard of, orphans finding their father was a king or whatever, and you're being led out to a very large carriage. It's pulled by a black horse that has actual flame as a mane. It's like a Clydesdale. This horse, it's huge, and the carriage it's pulling is flamboyant. Is not the right word. It's meant to be a show, and you immediately pick up on that. As observant as you are, you also pick up on the fact that as you left.
I have to tell you before I forgot. There's a zombie bus in Vegas. We ran into it last night. I needed to tell you before I forgot again.
I don't know what that means.
It's a bus with a bunch of zombies on it and in it, including the driver. And it's one of those, stop and take a picture, pay $10, whatever. But it's a full zombie bus.
So, because we're paused, first of all, that's amazing.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say it was an ad for like the zombie burlesque, which I've went and seen. But the on our way back yesterday,
Mhm.
we saw National Lampoon's Trip, like when he's traveling to Wally World.
Right.
Somebody had that vehicle, including the baggages up top and a
Mhm.
body in a plastic plastic bag sitting up on top, taped to the top of the car.
That's amazing.
It was amazing. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
No,
Sorry,
you're
I know that was completely unrelated, but you reminded me with when you said the vehicle is for a show. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
crap, zombie bus.
So
Sorry.
as you were walking through, one of the things you also note is that as Firebelly left the restaurant, he was seething. He didn't show. None of that showed. None of that frustration. Even when he was talking to Chef Lin and he was frustrated with Chef Lin, you weren't able to tell that he was actually angry. And you can almost see it in the small ticks in how he holds himself as he's kind of ushering you to the carriage. And how he holds himself is almost with apology, but not to you. More to, it seems like maybe it's more to your situation. But yes.
I will ask
Yeah.
him, have I done something to offend you?
I will turn, stop walking, and I'll take a knee to kind of be a little bit more level.
Yeah.
You offend me. Quite the opposite. It's evident in you. You can see things no one else in this town has been able to for quite a long time. I've been trying to find a spark like this for decades in this town. No one wants to change. I won't let another day be wasted squandering your talents. You're coming with me because I'm going to help you grow. I'm going to help you reach your true potential, Niu. No longer will you be abused or struggle to suffer through the instructions of these inferior chefs. You're going to soar if you come with me.
You can see tears welling in his eyes, and he nods, and he actually bows himself and says, "Oui, chef. I will learn."
You climb in to this large carriage. I mean, let's just put it this way, without copyright. This is essentially a Hagrid-sized carriage, and you are
Right.
a Harry Potter-sized boy.
Yes.
And so you climb in, and it's a small. You're a small-ish child, so it's looking through that filter, but you don't think you've ever been in a carriage. I mean, you've only really been in wagons, right, for the farm and on your way to and fro. You haven't been in it. This is almost like a building that's moving for stuff that you've compared it to, right? It's not. It's just a large carriage, but you have no frame of reference. And you
Right.
can feel Firebelly says something in a language that's half anger and half angelic, so probably something close to Irish. And you feel the whole carriage start turning around, and it's pointed at your house, like down the road to where your farm is. He didn't ask for that information, and it's obvious he wasn't originally going that direction, but he is pointing it back towards where your parents are.
Okay. He is going to watch and wait.
Okay. The trip is shorter than you would have expected, but you're probably riding on the high of fate. And you arrive at your house. Somehow he had that information, and you get out. Both of you get out, and you have a very nice conversation with your parents, who are flabbergasted. Very few people in the area haven't heard some story of Terror Firebelly. He is if not the most famous, amongst the most famous celebrities of this kingdom and the kingdoms nearby. Though most of that is rumors and legends, because very few people at your level, even with a successful farm that your parents have, that they would ever get a chance to meet someone like that. And he pays them the apprentice fee that would normally be the opposite direction. And again, they're flabbergasted. They're telling him he should stay for dinner and then laughing about it because obviously it wouldn't count for any of that. Like, it wouldn't be anything up to his standard, and he appreciates it and stays for dinner and comments on your mother's ragu and says that it reminds him of his mother's ragu, though that was a long time ago. And you guys have a very nice family moment together as you are packing up your actual stuff, what little of it there is. We have a cut, and it cuts back to you under the stairs as an adult, gritty, grimy. You say that your clothing is white. At this point, it's mostly lightish brown with brown smudges and blood. And we see that it wasn't you cowering under the stairs. You're not there because you're afraid. You've got your hands working together and you're taking ingredients and you're mashing them together into maybe something like a protein paste. And you're kind of at work and it's dark, but your eyes can kind of see it, and you're smelling ingredients that you're pulling out to make sure you've got the right ingredients, and you're mixing and mashing, and and you think that you've got it good, so you lean out and you peeking, and you're in a room that has a long hallway attached to it. And down the hallway is where you're hearing the screams and where you're hearing the different sounds of combat. Some of these screams don't even sound humanoid anymore. Your party is taking some hits, and so you sneak out from your hidden space and you move to the entrance of that hallway, back against the stone. You can feel the back of your shirt wet, and you don't know if it's sweat or something trickling down the wall from the ceiling. But you peek around the corner again, seeing that flickering light and hearing those screams. And we cut. We flash back. You are... Okay, that's right. I have a whole bunch of notes, sorry. It's loud. It goes from the quiet and violence of the dungeon to loud tournament-style shouting and screaming in enjoyment. There is a arena of sorts. Let me pull this map up just so you can get reference. This is you. There and there. There are 4 two-man teams. Each of the two-man teams is a master and apprentice. All of these walls around are stadium seating. Each of those stadium seatings have roughly 200 people. You have been working in his restaurant and with him as he travels. He's been giving you essentially is it Orphan Annie?
Orphan Annie, Little Orphan Annie.
Little Orphan Annie.
Yeah.
He's been giving you the Little Orphan Annie treatment, essentially, where he is teaching you the business and pretending you have zero skill whatsoever so that he
Mhm.
can build you from zero. And he's had to kind of forcibly correct you a couple times because you've gotten in such a habit of just following a recipe,
Mhm.
and he never wants you to just follow the recipe. So you have been building up to and running drills for this tournament, and it's the Tournament of Kings, and there is a. I need to start highlighting this. Sorry, it's like 6 pages. King Barton. King Barton is the king of the kingdom that you are from, and that you have
Mhm.
been in. Barton. He's actually a very joyful monarch and mostly liked from his entire kingdom. Most of the people don't really have to deal with him because just like a normal king, right?
Right.
He's not seen by people outside. This is the 3rd time you have seen him. You've never met him in person. Because your master chef, Terror Firebelly, is actually good friends with the king. Most of these tournaments, it's been explained to you, are they pop up several times a year, and they have dignitaries from other kingdoms come in who bring with them their best chef and apprentice. And the idea is you have a tournament, but also the royalty from these 4 countries show up and they get the best food available from all of those countries, right? Because they're judging it. And so, unlike the competitions that we see modern chef competitions, there actually isn't a time limit in this. When your food is done, you bring it to the judges, and the judges eat it, grade it, and then they wait for the next one, and so on and so forth. And so you are working on the 3rd of 9 courses for this tournament, and you've been put through the drills. It seems like Firebelly, you have not seen a negative interaction with Terror Firebelly and anyone else ever, but you've seen him in private, and when he is cooking, when he thinks no one's watching, when he's cooking, he is studious, he is quiet, he's in the zone, he's in Zen, right? He's a monk master preparing a dish with such precision. And you can see that when he's doing it here, like he is with you, he's showing up the crowd, he's pretending to make accidents, he's throwing bits of carrot into the crowd. And you guys have been here for 2 days now, being prepared and getting used to things. It is loud, and you've never been around this many people, and so you're also a little bit anxious. Off here.
Yes.
This is Quell Thomas, and I'll put the name in the chat because it will come up again. Quell Thomas, rival of Firebelly, and Jazz McFeakle, Satyr, rival of you. I know you, right? Yeah, I know you.
Yep.
Okay, so Quell Thomas and Jazz McFeakle, who you have been I'm gonna do that. Yeah. Who are essentially your pair's rivals, especially in public. You have seen Quell Thomas drinking a beer with Firebelly at like a tavern, and they joke around, but here you'd think they were bitter rivals, a hair's breadth away from throwing knives at each other. That has caused some actual animosity between you and the apprentice, Jazz McFeagle. You don't necessarily dislike Jazz McFeagle. They're a satyr, who, while not as observant as you secretly think might be better. They have a way with timing and multitasking that you just have not been able to match. And there is a little bit of jealousy there. But, I mean, when you guys are at a tavern and your masters are drinking and hanging out, there's going to be a little bit of camaraderie there as well. So you've built up what you feel is a respect outside of this tournament.
Right.
So would somebody like to play Jazz?
Can you describe Jazz a little bit?
Sure.
Sorry.
Jazz is a, insert gender here, Caesar,
From New Yorker.
that is essentially a New Yorker, like in personality and attitude. And definitely, especially in this situation where it's like a competition with 1,000 people watching, is definitely hamming it up. The rivalry between the two teams, as there might not be anyone else competing. That's how much stairs and stuff, and sorry, here. I'm trying to go by the backwards map and it's throwing me off. You guys are throwing up the show. So
Jazz and Mark are.
Jazz and Mark, and Firebelly and Quill Thomas. They're both like throwing insults and sometimes throwing a tomato and like trying to mess up the recipe and so sorry, let me also say you can't cross within 5 feet of another person's table or oven. So you can sabotage, but it's still a friendly competition. There isn't really an award other than being able to give your food to the royalty and getting your name out there. But it's still a show, right? They want it to be a show. And this is both of you, both Jazz and New, know because you've been told. This is how, in this kingdom, diplomacy gets done.
Is by cooking?
Well, at these events, right? The dignitaries come in, they share in different types of food and conversation, and if there are treaties that have to be signed or trade agreements that happen at this time around these events. So there is an important reason to have these events. That being said, mechanically speaking, there are spells that are put on this. There are spells that neutralize poison. There are spells that neutralize harmful acids. So, like, citrus is fine. Haha. But, like, harmful acids are neutralized within this zone. So, obviously, you're cooking food for dignitaries. There are reasons, right? Not that I need to share that kind of stuff with you guys, but it has been considered, and your guys' stuff was checked before you brought it in.
I think this character sounds amazing. I think Mark would love to play it.
You think Mark would love to play Jazz?
You're gonna make me duel myself. Listen, that's happened in enough games already.
So what I'm getting is Joe Pesci.
Cool.
Do I have any notes? Is there anything that I need to know about this character? Key points I have to deliver.
So you're really good with not really. It's fairly open ended. This is the first time Jazz has been to a tournament like this. There has been a lot of smaller. You guys have like practice tournaments and stuff that you practice drills coming up to this. but this is like 1,000 people that aren't even going to eat your food cheering you guys on and enjoying the show because it's a big event and it happens probably 5 times a year.
All right.
But you have met New and Firebelly and some of the other competitors too. But
Are New and I bitter rivals or friendly rivals?
for the purpose of this tournament, what do you think, Mark?
Well, for the show, bitter rivals.
But,
I would say, like,
if we're in the kitchen together, we're kind of riffing off of each other, and
yeah, but I mean, there's definitely respect between them. I would say that, like, I wouldn't know that they would be steadfast friends.
Sure,
but you know,
they respect each other's accomplishments to this point.
Yes, but for the show, it's no hold barred.
Yeah,
no holds barred.
It's Hell's Kitchen. All right.
Would somebody like to play Quell? I can also play Quell, so there's no pressure. Okay, I will play Quell. The things are shouting right now because Firebelly's team is doing 9 courses. Quell's team is doing 10 courses, and the recipes are completely different because they are from different countries. They have different cooking styles. They have different ingredients, but any even casual observer would note that Quell's menu and Firebelly's menu, while made of different types of cooking and different types of ingredient, share common factors course for course. As if Quell saw what Firebelly was doing and said, I'm going to one-up him there. Or Firebelly saw Quell's menu and said, oh, I'm going to do my mushrooms this way. And so they're definitely a battle of the chefs. So there's shouting, there's yelling. Over the shouting and yelling, you can actually hear King Barton's laughs. He is a single king, well known as a happy bachelor. And oh, okay. Sorry. The broadcaster told me I was dropping frames. Oh, he's leaning over and talking to the Queen of Solania, who is where Quell and Jazz are from, and they're kind of laughing and flirting with each other. It's a well-known fact that nothing could or would ever happen there, but it's obviously they enjoy each other's company, and his laugh can actually be heard almost like a ringing bell over the shouts of the audience. You're not sure what they're shouting for. Yes, but they are. Yeah.
I have questions about the previous tournaments that I've been in.
Yep.
So what is the etiquette between the two teams? I assume they're allowed to heckle each other, kind of like you said, you know, do stupid stuff to make the other teams lose focus or whatever.
Yep.
Is there a do number twos have to limit to number twos, or can they talk to and or cajole?
I see what you mean. That's a good question. You can't draw blood. So you don't draw knives and throw knives, but pretty much other than that rule, there are no other rules. So if you, as an apprentice, are able to throw off a master from what he's doing, it's going to be a huge show for the audience, right?
Right.
So
I just didn't know if maybe it was an internal thing between the masters that you don't do that. Like, you can talk respectfully to them, but to the number twos, you can.
So I think before this tournament, Firebelly would have told you, while I know the other masters, I don't think you doing anything to the masters would be taken well. but Quell is fine. And you've met Quell several times.
Right.
So yeah.
I'm just more asking, like, if I were to verbally use the master as a setup for a joke aimed at Quell, that would be probably okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's yelling. You're about halfway through your side of the recipe that you're making, and it's essentially like a meat skewer over jasmine rice with a type of yellow sauce, yellow mango sauce. And you're looking over, and Jazz is working on. You're working on like maybe one, maybe two things for this recipe.
Mhm.
Firebelly is working on 3 or 4 things for the recipe. Jazz has 8 things. Is Jazz? What are Jazz's pronouns, Jim?
Let's go they them.
Okay, so they are working on like 8 different things, almost completely at the same time, not burning anything, and Quill, on the other hand, is doing 1. You're not sure what he's doing because you haven't seen that technique, but he seems to be working with some kind of dairy and some kind of cold, maybe? There's like fog coming off of it, but you've never seen that kind of. You're not sure what's happening over there. But you see Jazz handling like 8 different things they're working on.
Yeah, see, you gotta get on this level over here, you know? See, I do all the work in the kitchen just so that the big man can work on the one thing that neither of you can cook. Come on, can we get some audience appreciation here? You see the rookie over here? He's trying to do everything.
You hear
I'm
shouts
actually,
and laughter. Go ahead, Mark.
I'm going to stop what I'm doing, walk right up to the line of where I'm not supposed to cross.
Right.
And I will...
As you do so, I slowly hold up a tomato that looks a little soft.
I will...
What you got there, Chip?
Yeah, I have my hands up. I do not have anything in my hands. And I walk up to the line and I will say, I want to flag somebody, but I need to see who. Hold on 1 second. I will shout to Master Tomez.
Okay.
Is it Tomez or Thomas?
It's Thomas, but you have an accent.
Thomas.
So
Okay, yeah. Monsieur Tomez.
he raises an eyebrow and then looks frustrated, like, "What? How dare you talk to me?"
I grin and I say, Jazz, there is a saying that my master told me. If working hard made you rich, donkeys would be covered in gold. It looks like...
Hey, but are you cooking donkeys right now, really?
No, I am cooking things well. You have 8 stations.
Yeah, efficiency. What are you doing over there? You're slacking off. You're wasting time. By the time the rest of us are done, you're just going to be finishing up your ingredients and putting them in the skillet.
You sound like one of those gnats.
Indeed, and you're buzzing around my station. Why don't you go back over there and do your job? I've got business to take care of over here.
I will grin and walk back to my station.
I'll hype up. What say you, Quell? You think your apprentice McFeeble there can best news bechamel? Ha! Now that joke's actually delicious.
The crowd is eating this up, pun intended. They're laughing, they're shouting. Some noisemakers have started, and you're not sure where they came from. Yeah, that guy right there. That's where they came from. He's selling noisemakers, and Quill shakes his head and says, "Hey, Firebelly, you need to watch your apprentice. He was getting close to our line. I'd hate for you to be disqualified.
Wouldn't like, it'd be real ugly if he got some hot grease in his eyes. I mean, wouldn't that just really be inappropriate?
Hey, maybe you should let New get closer. You can learn something. Keep watch.
The only thing I'm learning is that I don't like the smell that's coming from his station.
I will toss a tomato.
Go ahead and give me a dexterity check. Were you aiming for anything specific?
To be honest, yes. I am aiming. What is around Jazz right now?
So Jazz is here. His main station. Let me move from here. Jazz is green. Fire belly is yellow.
Right.
His station is along this entire side, and he is currently next to what might be some kind of fruit, like a fruit or vegetable salad, that is soaking in some kind of reduction. That seems to be what he's working on right next to him.
What is in it? Are there tomatoes in it?
Give me a perception check.
Okay.
Because I have to make you roll for something. Because
I get it. Yes.
I mean, sure, it won't be a problem. You're observant as heck.
So, can I tell with my passive perception?
No.
What's in it?
No.
No. Okay. Right.
Your passive perception is what I've been using to give you all of the details you're not specifically looking for. As soon as you specifically look for it, you're gonna have to roll active perception. Good question. I'm letting the other people in the group know this as well.
So I need. Okay. So giant dice time. Sorry, I still haven't cleaned up since our dragon battle. I feel bad.
Yeah, you don't want to dent those dice with your gigantic, or you dent the cards with a gigantic.
Exactly. So 9. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's 9 plus.
9 plus.
What?
Go ahead. First 9 plus.
9 plus 5, 14.
14. Okay. Move your hand really quick.
Yeah.
That looks like Justin in a gelatinous cube.
It does look like or Chris Pine. Either one.
I see it.
Yep. I see it too. Actually, I don't like how the dice looks like it's being absorbed into the gelatinous cube. This dice is expensive.
Put away. Keep it safe.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to knock it off the table? Are you trying to splatter?
No. First, I really want to know if it has tomatoes in it.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was a perception check.
Yes.
It does have something that looks like tomatoes. You're not sure if it is tomatoes because you actually haven't been to that country yet. The next tournament is actually in that country, and you'll get more familiar with those ingredients.
All right. So I want to do something, but I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
Which means that I really don't know how to do it.
Well, and that's perfect because again, we're teaching as we're going.
Yeah. So what I want to do is I do want to throw something I want to throw if I had a portion of a tomato I didn't use, I'm not throwing like a whole tomato.
Right.
But I'm quickly going to pour a little rice vinegar on the tomato slice.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm going to try and toss it in there without Jazz seeing.
Okay, so we have moved past you guys looking at each other, talking about grease, and you went back to your station. Jazz is working on his 8 different things.
Right.
And you want to try to surreptitiously throw something into the bowl from where you are, or get close again?
From where I am.
Okay.
And if Jazz sees, that's fine because the crowd will definitely see it at that point.
Yeah.
But if Jazz doesn't see it, then that's actually probably better.
So
we'll see.
I would have you make a dexterity check to throw it.
Okay. Yeah.
You are trying to be stealthy, and stealth is based on dexterity anyway. So I'm going to have you make a stealth check.
Okay.
And then I'm going to have Jazz roll a perception check to see if he sees it. And your stealth check will be the difficulty he has to beat.
Right.
They have to be. I'm sorry. So
I have one other question.
yes.
Do I have my ladle at this point?
Yeah, you're a chef.
So then can I get the proficiency bonus from the ladle on throwing it?
Sure can.
Okay.
Well, normally
That's why I'm
that isn't for an attack. In this very specific case, I will allow it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right. So first the stealth.
So you have a almost like balsamic vinaigrette tomato salad you're making.
Right.
And so you're actually scooping some of those tomatoes and flinging them across. Does that sound
Just one tomato with a little sauce.
Okay.
I don't want to mess up, like I don't want to.
You're not actively trying to sabotage. Yeah.
I mean, I am just a tiny little bit, but more than likely it's already
Just
got
trying
an
to throw
acid
my
in it.
flavors off.
Yeah, it's not going to really throw his flavor off. That's I mean, maybe enough to annoy him that he would notice it, but not that anyone else would probably. Okay, so this is for the stealth, and this is +2. I got a. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't put it on the big screen. You want me to re-roll again?
No,
'Cause I
you're
didn't
fine.
put it
You're
on.
fine.
It's 18 total.
Okay. So you're gonna get your Jazz has a +3 to perception.
Okay.
So D20 plus 3.
Okay. Would you believe me if I told you that with my modifier I rolled a 21?
Yes, and that's fine.
So
So
go ahead, Mark.
So now I'm gonna roll to hit.
Oh, so that was my roll. I'm sorry. I should have been more specific. I was having you roll stealth as that roll.
Oh, I didn't add the proficiency for it then.
Oh, okay. So if
I just added my stealth. Yeah.
What
So
would
it would have been 16 plus 2 is 18 plus 3 is 21. So it would have been
so
even.
That's
That's
perfect. That's actually even more perfect. So okay. So that's why I was saying, Mark, in this case, I was going to allow you to add that to your stealth.
I got it. Yeah, I get it now.
So you ladle up a single piece of tomato, and you are kind of playing up the crowd, and you fling it,
Right.
and this, 2-inch bit of tomato flies across the intervening 25 feet, and as it is about to drop into your tomatoes, because you're working on a lot of different things, Jazz, you see a small bit of tomato out of the corner of your eye moving, and it's, aimed straight at your tomato, like, perfect shot, perfect lighting.
Okay. Do I get actually, you know what I think I'll do? As I see it coming in, it's like, it's like a well-oiled machine. I'm like, oh no, none of that. And I'm sweeping my hand across the counter, and it almost looks like I'm brushing away ingredients into a pot, but I snatch up a wooden mixing spoon and just snap at the tomato and blast it against the wall off to my left side.
Okay.
I don't need any of your help with my ingredients. You keep that nonsense over on your side.
The crowd goes freaking wild. Some of them that didn't see that interaction, you can see that other people are whispering to them, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, how did I miss that?" And that people are screaming, and a little bit of tomato is sliding down the wall. And Flame Belly.
Thank you. I'm just making sure that everything stays fair here. None of this under the table nonsense over here.
Quell is laughing to himself, and he slides over to you, and he places a handful of frozen corn kernels in a pile next to you, Jazz.
I'm sorry, you said frozen corn kernels?
Frozen corn kernels, yeah. You know that what he's preparing on his side is a form of chilled ice or like ice cream, but it's a technique that most other countries or kingdoms don't even have access to, which is why he's kind of doing it in secret. And he's also mixing in things like corn kernels in some of them and some of these different preparations. So he slid a handful of frozen corn kernels to you as if to say, it's your turn. And then goes back to what he's prepping.
And you said that can we mess with the masters? We just can't like insult them or run them down.
So go
Yeah,
ahead.
I would.
I didn't remember the exact politics there.
I mean, I would personally think that like student to other master would be like talking to them is fine, like to muck with them that way, but not hurl insults and not
But not actually mess with them.
actively mess with them, right?
So
Okay.
But the other ones are fair game.
the example I would probably use is Iron Chef. When you have two Iron Chefs on the floor in that show, sometimes the sous chefs, when they're asked like a leading question by the host, they'll yell something funny over to the other group. You know, the chefs,
Right.
the Iron Chefs do anyway, but the sous chefs, all of them work together. The Iron Chefs might not, but all of the sous chefs for the show tend to work together, and so they sometimes will throw insults, and they can throw insults at the Iron Chef or whatever, but you don't necessarily want to be disrespectful of the chef, right?
It's kind of like Bobby Flay's show.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Is it be Bobby Flay or
Beat
whatever
Bobby
it
Flay.
is?
Same. Yep.
Yeah.
Same. Game recognized game.
Hmm.
I mean, if I have to be from New York, go big or go home.
So what I'm gonna do is flash freezing something that we have access to?
So you know that he's using. So on his side. Oh wow. On your master's side of the reason he's only working with one thing is because it's dangerous, right?
Right.
He's
Yeah.
having you do multiple things because he knows you can accomplish it, and what he's doing is dangerous. He has where you might have a deep fryer. He has that, but filled with what is the liquid?
Liquid nitrogen.
Like liquid nitrogen, yeah. In like almost like a deep fryer, but it's filled with liquid nitrogen. So it is. You have been trained on how to do it and how to do it safely, but you also know it's a secret. And so if you were gonna do something, do it secretly.
Is does Mark or excuse me, does New have anything in a skillet that's flaming?
I would
That's up to you.
probably not. I don't think so.
Okay. What do I see in front of a news character being prepared? What is it that do I recognize any of it?
What are you preparing?
I'd probably be preparing a souffle, which would be in a makeshift oven, I would
Yep.
guess. I would probably be working on some caramel, most likely a vanilla cream sauce, and a sugar twill.
So if you wanted to mess with it, probably the twill or the caramel. Ooh, the caramel.
Yeah,
That's-
you could actually, the caramel would be a good choice.
Because you would have to restart it, and it does
So
not. It doesn't
Not
take much. It doesn't
not
take much.
necessarily if it does what I hope it does.
So what I'm gonna do is I am in the middle of my prep work. I'm going to grab a spoon and scoop up the flash frozen corn and I'm gonna drop it into a puddle of drop it into a puddle of brine.
Oh.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna set that down over like an ingredient bowl. I'm going with mise en place cooking for this particular competition.
Yep.
So I set it down and I go back about my work. And while I'm working, I'm chopping. And the last thing I do, the last chop, I flip the blade and hit the spoon, almost like it's an accident, and send the corn launching across the field towards his pot of caramel.
Okay. Give me a shoot. I think that would be a ranged attack. And if he's also a chef, I would say that's probably his ladle. So go ahead and roll a d20 and add 5 mark. You think
3.
3?
3. Yeah.
Even if it's double the.
No, that is double. Oh well, it depends what his strength is.
So we're gonna say his strength is 1.
And so in that case, it'd be 5 then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just D20 plus 5.
Yeah.
I think Tyler wanted to say something.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Justin wanted to say something. Excuse me.
Yeah, just because of the back and forth that just happened before with the crowd roaring up and everything.
Yes.
Is this within my line of sight? Like, am I going to be able to see this spoon slash action going on as it flies towards us?
You were. You know what? I'm going to say that you were instrumental in these tournaments starting. Aasimar live a very long time, and we'd probably say you're probably close to 200 or 300 years old. So you have seen a lot of these entertainment venues, and you have seen a lot of the tete-a-tete. Is that right, Mark? Tete-a-tete?
Yes.
So I would say that absolutely that was within your. Yeah.
Right, because I'm thinking if the banter's going back and forth, they're flinging food, the crowd noticed it. If I can see this happening, I want to try to, with any flame belly powers I have, can I pop the corn in midair?
Oh my god!
That's amazing.
Justin, you and I were on the same page because if we catch it, it's going in the caramel.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. All right. So, what did you get?
We're all such nerds.
So I knew from the beginning that most of your episode was going to be a cooking anime. And so that's what I've been trying to run it as. Whereas Travis's, now we'll talk about this after too, but Travis's was meant to be like an introduction to a more alien side of D&D. And so each one is going to have the different flavors, pardon the pun. But amazing. So what did you roll, Jim?
What were my total modifiers? Was it just the plus 5?
Just the plus 5.
Yeah.
So all told, I rolled a 20.
Nice. So, corn is going to do something separate than a single piece of tomato wood. So as you fling it with your ladle, which is your special ladle because you have the same class as Mark's character, which is chef, you hit
I use zwilling.
The handful, maybe 15, 20 kernels, maybe 30, start flying over, and they start to separate over a slightly wider area because it's shot put. It's a lot. It's not one.
It's a shotgun blast.
It's a shotgun blast, and so it looks for a second like you miscalculated, and you were aiming for the caramel, but that popcorn might drop all over the whole table, like into everything. Give me a reflex or a dexterity saving throw. And I know you don't have a character sheet in front of you. When you have a character sheet in front of you, it will help you identify these things. But when you roll a saving throw, it's usually for something reactive instead of something you're trying to do on purpose, right? I'm talking to you, Justin. So you're going to roll a reflex saving throw to be able to do something special fast enough and make it happen. So go ahead and roll a d20, and it will be a d20 plus 5.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, 7. For that. You're
Okay, I'll roll right
you're
now.
higher level than the rest of them are.
Oof. Okay. 6 plus 7, 13 total.
13 total. So, you are able to, you kind of do this firebender move, that activates some of those abilities within you that you usually don't use very often. And you point your fingers at the fire and bring them up, straight up into the air in kind of like a small cyclone. And as the popcorn is moving through the fire, you guys hear what sounds like um, fireworks for a second, and really only you and New hear it because you're right there. But you pull the fire down immediately, and almost all the kernels now popped start dropping onto um, New's station. A couple of them fell in other things, and you'll be able to pick those out. Mark, can you please give me a reflex saving throw?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, a dexterity saving throw.
Right.
Reflex isn't a thing
Correct.
anymore.
Yep. I knew what you meant. Okay. I have a +2. Come on, big money. That is a 20.
Okay, so you are fast enough to have a reaction. What is your reaction to the popcorn falling on a fairly large section of your, or going to fall on a fairly large section of your?
So my goal will be to snatch the caramel pan and try and bat as much of it in one chunk as I can out of the air so that it all goes into the caramel
Okay,
and
so
get stuck there.
you quickly thinking on your feet, you grab the pan and you kind of do this upside down swirl with it, where the pan's actually upside down, but the caramel is holding the inside of the pan as you collect all the popcorn before setting it back on the fire. And Firebelly, um, Chef Thomas, everybody essentially except for Jazz are kind of laughing at it and applauding it because it was both Jazz's catapult. The whole thing worked very cinematically, right? And overall, it was a good play, and everybody is laughing and cheering, and you hear loud clapping, and you're realizing now the reason you can hear the king's laughter, kind of when he's whispering or his claps, is because it's almost like this. Tournament floor. I'm looking for the word. This building was acoustically made to be able to hear the people talking to you or whatever. But the crowd's going freaking insane. The king is laughing his butt off, and you guys start going back to what you're doing. Uh, the meals are being prepared, and as we kind of slowly pan down and we pan across the flames in the center of the table, across from New. We see him down shaking the pan that has the caramel on it with the popcorn in it with a big smile on his face. And we cut to New sneaking through the corridor. He has left a majority of his gear behind because you do not have quiet gear, Mark.
Mhm.
You can go back to your big face.
Oh, thanks.
Your gear is not quiet. You have things that dangle. You have pans. You have a bunch of stuff. So you kind of tucked it under the stairs for this instance. And you are making your way through the corridor. Um, darkness, loud, squelching sounds, not great. There is a roar from the next room, a hiss and a roar that almost turns your uh, guts into water. Like, it scares you, it chills you. You have been in situations like this before. You've been an adventurer for a while, but every time it's like new threat, right? You've been told by old adventurers that you'll get past it. You all you have to do is survive and you'll be good. But every time it's like fresh fear. Um, as you're moving through the hallway, you see a body, and it's the body of one of your friends from this group that has been savagely mauled. And you can smell it before you see it, and it's super dark. That's why you hadn't seen it until you were almost right on top of it.
Do I think
Yeah.
I have questions
Yes.
for revival purposes?
Yes.
What's required?
So that's not a thing you need to worry about necessarily right now, but
Because I think you know where I'm going by asking that question.
yes. And you have been in trouble before for
Mhm.
stopping to consider that question before resolving the combat at hand.
Okay.
It may be a thought you're having right now, but you
Yeah.
also have almost died because you stopped to try to save a body when you
Yeah.
needed it. Yeah. So
Okay.
you that
Then I'll continue on.
instinct of stopping to help your friend, even if it means getting something back so they can bring him back, it
Right.
it burns in your chest, and then a wet blanket goes over it of survival. And you push past, and you can see in the darkness ahead of you a second body. Um, your adrenaline is shooting up. You can feel your heartbeat speed up. Um, you're hoping that you're going to get there in time. And the snack, you have 3 of them prepared in your hands
Mhm.
with slightly different ingredients.
Right.
That you're hoping that you're going to get there in time.
Then in that case, can I know it's dangerous to run when I can't see, but can I like trot instead of walk?
You can.
I know it's gonna be the same movement speed. That's fine.
But right now we're doing this for cinematics anyway, man. So
Yeah,
seeing your
okay.
second friend dead and
Right.
still hearing the grueling combat ahead, you kind of move to a trot, almost a run, but a quiet run, a careful run. And you
Right.
get to the edge where you see the flickering light and almost slide into the wall with the opening ahead of you, and you see in front of you your surviving friends combating this wounded but large purplish black panther that has these huge tendrils coming off of its shoulders and back that have hooked barbs on the ends of them. And it's hissing and razor claws across shield, screaming. You can see that the companions that are in this room combating this beast are not doing well. And we cut to okay. You are in a kitchen. It is an average kitchen. It's not a huge kitchen like some of Firebelly's large restaurants. It is one of his oldest restaurants, though, and it is in the lower docks area of Waterdeep. It is fairly well known, but this is not a country that you're familiar with. You're
Mhm.
not from here,
Right.
but you've passed through here several times on your guys' route. There is no one in this kitchen. It's a quiet restaurant. He has locked the front doors. He has sent home all of the other workers, and you are diligently at work preparing the first of the ancient recipes you've found. Of the 7 recipes that are said to restore hope and fate. And you're working on it as your final test. You have been working for Firebelly for 12 years. You have learned, he knows you have learned, and you have, oh, so I'm sorry. I need to keep track of what I'm on as well. He
You
has
said how many years?
12.
12. Thank you.
And you have been studiously picking up everything, right? He is you would call him a world famous chef. What time is it? 8:20. You would call him a world famous chef. He is known in the civilized world you've been to, right? You have yet to go to a place that didn't know of him, either from the path the migration path he takes, or from the restaurants or legends or whatever. I know. I heard you. I understand. 1 second. And you are busy preparing this meal, and we're gonna go ahead and take a break if that's okay.
Mhm.
And then so maybe it is 8:21. Maybe is everybody good with 5 minutes? So we'll be back
For sure.
around 25, 26. And then we'll get back started. What do I have to do on my end, Mark? Anything?
Nothing.
Okay.
I will take care of it on this side.
Okay.
We'll see everybody in 5.
Okay. How do I stop it?
It is.
Oh, sweet. Oh,
It's
sweet.
exactly 5 minutes.
Perfect. Okay, awesome.
That's why I played it.
Perfetto. Ah.
Bellissimo.
I'm gonna say it because everybody needs to hear it. Because I was just gonna message it privately, but part of why we do this with you guys playing as the NPCs is because it gives you a chance to RP, because not every role playing and not every TTRPG really gets into it that much. Some are really, really based on combat. I am a storyteller who really wants my players to feel comfortable role playing if they feel like role playing. Part of the reason why we're doing these one shots is so that you guys, when you feel like it, can watch to find out what these players are about, or you can get some beef up those role playing muscles. Right? You get to experience it. You get to do it. It's not. This is not for everybody. Some people won't be comfortable playing as NPCs because I'm not giving you guys a background. I'm not giving you really where. I'm just saying, here's you go with it, right? And that's not for everybody. I totally get that, and there's no shade at all for any of that. But that being said, I think that the scenes you guys are putting together are great. You are running things through better than I expect, because I have something in my head of how it might go through, and I hope that you guys can take the seeds and grow the plant. And you guys are cooking with the plant. So you're past the growing process, past the harvesting process. You're already cooking. And I appreciate that. Okay.
That's
So
another pun.
I'm trying.
I appreciate them.
Cheers. Okay.
So you're saying we should let all this stuff marinate?
You should let it marinate. Yeah.
Mark, I swear to God, you're gonna rue the day you just push these puns too far.
Bravo.
Okay. So you're cooking in the kitchen, and it is
With
one
gas?
You're cooking
Oh.
with gas.
No.
Actually, you're not cooking with gas.
No.
But it is one of his oldest restaurants. You don't know if it is his oldest. He hasn't given you well, he has taught you, and you know a lot about how his business works. He hasn't given you his full history, right?
Right.
Based on how you've been traveling with him almost as a Robin to his Batman for 12 years. So you have learned through experience and watching him that he had to have been an adventurer at some point. But he has not given you any details that would give you any specifics for that time of his life. When he talks about his past, it's usually about his relationships with the people that you've met, and you knew that the reason he's telling you that is so that you can be observant in those interactions, as if he's trying to teach you how you should be to be a successful chef. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
And it's completely an OOC question, but it will inform this.
Yes.
The first of the 7 recipes.
Uh-huh.
Where did it come from?
Okay. The first of the 7 recipes, you had found a book in one of the huge recipe vaults that Firebelly took you to. There are 4 in various kingdoms, and you guys make stops every once in a while to one of these institutions, partially because he donates large amounts of money to these institutions. And you found the rumor, almost like Dragon Balls, of this.
This is a family show, sir.
Actually, no, it tanked.
Well played, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate your candor.
But you found this. It was rumors of a recipe, right? But
Mhm.
you, because you're hitting all of the 4 vaults,
Mhm.
you were able to, and your. Let me rewind. I keep saying you're observant, and
Right.
I'm trying to play off of that. And this is for the other
Correct.
players because
Yes.
this is other players learning who you are.
Right.
Mark is a variant human, as his lineage, as his race, and what
Well, new is a variant human. I'm a normal human.
Mark is a mutant.
Yes,
His character is a variant human.
that is correct. That is better.
And the variant human has other things added to it, but it also means you get to start with a feat. Normally, you don't get to start with a feat.
Not an extra foot, but a power that does something.
That extra foot is because Mark is a mutant.
That's correct.
So he gets to start with an extra capability, which in D&D is called a feat. And he chose observant. And what that means is his character, from the beginning, because of his genetics or because of how he was originally as a child, has the capability to see things other people may not be able to, right? What are the other capabilities it gives you, Mark?
So it gives me a ridiculously high passive perception, which means I can find stuff without actually having to search for it.
And passive perception is more of a GM tool, so that
Right.
I'm giving him details. When he walks into a room, without actively looking, I'm trying to give him details of what's in that room. He might still have to search, but I'm trying to give him details he might see. Yeah, go ahead.
And the other real thing it does is if I can see the lips of anyone within, I don't remember the range.
I think
Hold
it's
on.
60 feet. It might be 30.
I think
feet,
it's
but
60 feet. That's what I was thinking off the top of my head. I'm trying to look it up real quick. Oh no, if I can just see a creature's mouth, no matter what the distance is, while it's speaking a language I understand, I can interpret what it's saying by reading its lips.
Okay.
Ooh.
Which to me is the. You'll have to remind me that that's the thing because I'm more focused on the other aspect.
Yep, no,
But-
I get
That's
it.
amazing.
So when I'm saying he's observant, that's where that's coming from. So if your character has something specific like that, like for example, Keck, the Thrycreen from last week, one of his lineage's big special things is the telepathy, and so we tried to play that into a lot of it. Telepathic signals, telepathic memories, racial memories, stuff like that.
And part of why I wanted to take this feat is because probably it was ingrained to knew early that if he could figure out after somebody tasted his food what they felt about it, then he would have to know whether he was going to be beaten or praised.
Yeah. Where were we? Oh, you're cooking again. Sorry.
Yes.
This is the third time I've now said that. You were asking about the recipes. So you're observant, and you were able to put pieces of information together that were essentially lost, right? A journal entry here, a recipe that was talking about something there, and you found the location, which was a very small island off of the Sword Coast, which is near here, ironically. You probably just got the recipe within the last month or 2 months, and it was a very small island that used to house an ancient shack. That shack was a very small, what are they called, Mark? Like a restaurant, but it's only meant for like 2 or 3 people at a time.
Oh,
A hole in the wall?
Cafe or a bistro?
It was like a bistro maybe, but it was meant
Yeah.
for specific people in the know that would go out to that island and have an amazing meal represented. And you found it buried beneath that shack. That shack is no longer standing. you unearthing that recipe meant that the shack that had been standing for hundreds of years was no longer standing. But
yeah,
you had
so that
to get to that island. You actually worked with and hired a smaller group of adventurers,
right.
to take you out there and guard you, because right now, this time of year, merfolk are not happy with the sailors of the Sword Coast. And there were several dangerous instances of combat where you were kind of hiding underneath in the galley, um, to be safe. But you probably got back maybe a month ago.
So what was this is sorry, these are all the questions that I had not fleshed out, so I kind of want to flesh a little bit of this out.
Yep.
What was Firebelly's response? What was he aware of these recipes, or is this like a new thing for him too? That's more of where I was hazy on.
You know what? I'll ask Justin. Did Firebelly know these existed? Were they legends? Were they... What did he think?
So this is one of 7, you said, right?
This is one of 7 that there is a legend in the faith of cooking that there are 7 recipes that once you can cook all 7, you're like the master of hope. You can bring back hope and faith. Or fate. Hope and
By
faith.
all means, I
They
think
did
this is something that's... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say above table, they did something like this, of all places, in World of Warcraft during one of the expansions, where if you finished all of these separate achievements, you became the master of the ways. And that's it. That's immediately what I thought of.
So much of that. I love that. My thought was that it's definitely something that's familiar, like is aware of and maybe in pursuit of, but this is probably still new ground to tread, because it's definitely not like already a master of it yet at all. It's
Got it.
like in pursuit. Maybe that's part of
Perfect.
Firebelly's greater purpose too, to seek out.
Okay.
Perfect. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. And you see him typing because he's adding to your guys' Google document
Yes.
all of
Thank you for that.
all
Of
of
notes.
the notes.
That's that's fine.
Heroes work.
So I will. Okay, so then I would be going through, even as I'm making it, I'm still constantly going over it in my head to
This-
make sure that
This will be maybe the 9th time that you've made this recipe.
and how did the other 8 times come out?
So the first one was amazing, and they've only gotten better.
But okay.
And that's using you're having to alter the recipes. The ingredients,
Okay.
not the recipe.
Okay.
You're having to alter the ingredients, not the recipe, because the
Right.
ingredients are calling for things. Some things you're guessing at what they meant, because it's stuff
So-
that does not exist anymore.
Real quick, without going into too much detail, did the previous 8 do the thing, or did they not do the thing and they were just very good?
About around 4 or 5, it started doing the thing.
Okay, great. So then I will. This time I'm going to try to use slightly less. I'm going to use slightly less liquid in the cake to see if the density will make it do the thing better.
Okay.
And but I'm going to add extra of the orange to compensate it being a denser bread.
Okay.
I
Or that's
observing
okay.
him do all this?
So, good question. Because this is a test for completion of his apprenticeship, he is alone in the kitchen. This is one of those moments in like the cooking movies or whatever where the chef has like a single light. Like Mark has like a single lamp above him, and he's doing it in the quiet stillness of the kitchen. And Firebelly is gonna be in the. He sent everyone else home. The restaurant is closed for the night, and Firebelly is probably sitting out in front of the fire in the common area, like where all the tables are. He probably already put up the chairs and cleaned up the, you know what I mean? Stuff that he probably hasn't done for years because he is the head chef. Head chefs don't put up chairs, they don't sweep. But this was one of his original restaurants before he really got big. So he probably does that stuff by hand here when he can. So I will ask you, Justin, knowing that Firebelly isn't going to go in the kitchen, what is he doing while he's waiting?
I think outside of the kitchen, just tending to like the lobby area and just reminiscing.
Okay.
That's fine. Comfortable by the fire. Doing some cool fire tricks with the fire. Whatever.
So, when he was an adventurer, 1 second, Mark, I saw your hand.
Yep.
When he was an adventurer and decided that he wanted to become a chef, and he moved here to Waterdeep, which is arguably one of the largest cities in this area of Faerun, and opened a restaurant, and all he could afford was just a restaurant down in like the docks where kind of crime is rampant. What kept him keeping this restaurant open when he had all of those other restaurants he had opened afterwards? Why did he keep this one open? Like, what is Firebelly thinking of and reminiscing about this restaurant?
This restaurant would definitely be the restaurant that, being in that part of town, had a lot of people like hard on their luck and maybe struggling coming in. And Firebelly was happy to keep their bellies full and kind of look out for people that are just kind of run down or need some help. And that has a soft spot in his heart, even as he has more extravagant restaurants, that this can serve that community well, even now.
Kind of love that. Good answer. Good answer. So he's thinking of like times where families came in off a boat and he was able to give them a good hearty meal before them trying to settle in somewhere, and that's awesome. Good answer.
Yeah, definitely.
Good answer. Okay, Mark.
So, as I'm making this 9th batch, I have an idea. I'm going to half the batch. And the first batch, I will go as close to what I figured out the recipe was supposed to be, which is oranges.
Right.
What else do I have in terms of fruit available here?
You have Sword Coast lemons, which are slightly sweeter than the
Okay.
lemons that you're used to back east.
Mhm.
You have some of the most sour, bitter grapefruit you've ever seen. You're not sure where they got them, but they are very sour and very bitter, and they usually go in some kind of tart. But you haven't made it for this restaurant yet. There's a lot of ingredients made for very specific dishes that are for this restaurant that would never make it in his other restaurant, in Firebelly's other
Right.
restaurants.
Right.
And so you don't have a lot of extravagant ingredients here in
No,
this kitchen.
I'm not looking for extravagance. That's fine. In fact, I'm going to change the plan again,
Mhm.
and I'm going to cut the batch into thirds. And I'm
Okay.
going to do 1/3 with the orange, 1/3 with the lemon, and 1/3 with the grapefruit. And I'll adjust the sweetness of each one, but I'm going to try and make it like the recipe for each of the 3 batches to get it to do the thing across all 3 batches.
Okay.
And if that works, then I will present it.
Okay.
because
Yeah.
it will show that I've learned the recipe, not the ingredients.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. So, do we have profession? Yeah, we have profession, and you have profession chef, right?
To me,
Yes, you. You should.
I don't understand the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. For skills, there is a profession skill. If you do not have profession and then you write in chef, you should.
Oh, I do not.
Yeah, you
Okay.
should. Because that is, while we can make other rolls and we will, like this one will either be a dexterity check or an intelligence check. In the future, the way that you make money in off time and stuff,
Mhm.
or when you're trying to accomplish something, you will be rolling profession chef. And in that case, when you are using your chef's kit, your special chef's kit, you'll use double proficiency for that skill.
Got it. Okay.
You're a chef by class, but you also need to be a chef by profession.
Right.
So go ahead and give me 3 either intelligence checks or dexterity checks.
Do you mean wisdom checks?
Or wisdom checks. Oh, wisdom.
'Cause-
It's wisdom.
Yeah, wisdom.
Yep.
Wisdom's chef.
Wisdom
Right.
chef, yep.
So, okay. That's a so that's a 7. That's a 13.
Mm-hmm.
Should I be adding anything to these besides just the wisdom modifier?
And the proficiency.
Oh, okay. And normal proficiency or double proficiency?
Double,
Sorry.
because you're cooking.
Okay, wait.
This
So
is
then,
this is a replacement for your profession skills that you will have as a
right,
change.
got it.
So it should be your wisdom modifier plus twice your proficiency.
So the first one is 13, and then this one would be 19.
Okay, and then one more.
Dogs barking. Because they heard me roll the dice on the table.
And it weighs 10 pounds.
And it makes noise through my whole house. 20.
Okay. The first one, which I think you said was grapefruit.
No, that was the orange.
Okay, the first one, which is the orange, it does the thing, but it is too sweet. It is way too sweet, but it does the thing.
Right.
The other two are exactly what the recipe says should happen, but with obviously different flavor profiles.
Right. Then I am not going to dress this up. I'm not going to make it look expensive or extravagant. I'm going to serve it for what it is. And I will take a piece from each and make it clean, crisp, square lines, and do one of each on a white plate as they are.
Okay.
And then once those are done, I will take them out into the front room.
You place them on the it's not really white, but it is white for this.
Right.
For this restaurant.
Whatever the best one is I can find.
And you select a fork. The forks here are well used. Most of them are a little bent. And in popular water deep fashion, lower water deep fashion, you select one of the forks that has 2 tines, because that's a lot of what they eat is fish, and it's perfect for what they eat. So you select one of those to go with it that matches for the restaurant that you're in.
And then I will make a second plate with 3 more.
Okay.
That are completely haphazard.
Okay.
And when I take those in, I'm going to keep the haphazard ones. I'm going to hand the professional looking ones to Firebelly.
Okay, so because you and I have had a lot of discussions, and you and Justin have you can go back to the big head.
Oh,
You and
sorry.
Justin have not had these discussions.
Right.
Please describe what you made.
So on the tray I am giving you, Firebelly, it is a perfectly square orange cake, a perfectly square grapefruit cake, and a perfectly square lemon cake. And on mine are 3, like, you don't know, like, there's no way that anyone would ever serve this to you. Is the short form. You immediately know that there's something else, that there's a reason he's got the plate, but you don't know what it is. But he extends the 3 to you that look like they're professionally made.
Okay. I will break away from pensively being in thought to look down at what you've placed in front of me, and I'll pause for a moment. I'm going to glance over at the other plate you have, and then look up at you and ask, is this it? Are you ready?
He is, and he pulls out his main knife.
Okay. Do I recognize the difference, like, in each one? Can I tell pretty clearly that's orange and lemon and grapefruit?
So we're
So
going
they
to.
actually have pieces of them on the top. So yes, you'd be able
They
to.
have pieces of them on the top, but also, the class of chef, right? The fighter, monk, sorcerer, wizard. We are establishing that chef, in certain cases, is also a class. You have like 15 levels in that class. Mark has 1. You also have classes of adventurer. And the reason I'm saying that is because you could probably smell the different citruses on the plate, or even from the kitchen that he was using as it wafted into the main room. You may not have been able to identify it, but you could tell he was working with those. So when he brought the plate out, I don't think he would have had any problem identifying some of the main strong ingredients in those cakes.
Okay, so yeah, at that point, I'm not surprised that there are 3. Then I can tell that you're... I can tell you're trying to with some new ingredients here, so...
The orange
Go ahead.
has way too much sugar. And he slices his finger open, and blood starts to drip down onto the floor. He takes the haphazard orange one, the slice of cake, and eats it. And you watch the wound close.
Okay. So that... Well, it's clear they work.
And
Go ahead.
it seems to me that, oh, sorry, I'm speaking out of character. It seems to me that it can be done with other ingredients. They all still work.
That's right. Lemons. I'm going to take a bite of the orange one anyway, the one that you tried.
So, Mark, big head.
Oh,
So, you are a famous celebrity. You have friends that are monarchs. You have a friend that is a brass dragon, Mark, in Waterdeep.
Yes.
You have a friend that's literally a brass dragon that comes out of his watery cavern every once in a while to shift into human form just to eat at your restaurant. Like, you are a built up, strong individual. You don't feel envy or jealousy easily. But you too have chased this recipe. And your apprentice found it and seems to have worked out what it needs to work.
Oh, okay. So just out of character, this as a test, like I've never successfully made, or
So
this is like a new to me, and
so
It's new to both of us.
yeah, so normally, right? And if an apprentice wants to stop being brain. If an apprentice wants to stop being an apprentice, right? They have to complete a certain challenge. And for chefs, it's you cook a meal for your master so the master knows that you are ready to not be an apprentice anymore. In this specific case, because you are that level of master to him, right? He wanted to provide you with something he knew you couldn't do. And talk about the cojones on that, right? And so he set himself with a challenge that you thought you probably at the time were like, yeah, okay, kid, go find the hidden recipe, good on you. And then when he failed, you would give him a different test so that he wasn't an apprentice anymore. Well, he succeeded where you have failed because you've been searching for those recipes and one was in your backyard. And so
gotcha. Okay.
you are filled with amazement probably and a little bit of jealousy because you've also been looking for these recipes, but and you
Gotcha. I
also know
misunderstood.
yeah
I thought I had been testing and already knew how it was supposed to turn out. Okay.
yeah sorry you're golden. I didn't clarify that probably well enough, but you have your own special recipes, right? Because you're a chef with a capital C because you're the class chef, but you have different recipes that do something like this. The recipe he went and found specifically was rumor, legend, that type of stuff. And so you also know that once he added it to his collection of recipes, until he's gone and forgotten from the world, no one else can adopt that recipe. That's the other reason to be jealous. Is
Okay.
now that he has grouped this recipe into his collection, he found it and he worked on it and he added it to his recipe knowledge. No one else can take that from him until he is not just dead, but forgotten. No one knows who had the recipes before, and that's why people can learn them again. There's a chance that
Okay.
had you learned that recipe, maybe no one ever would be able to again because you're that well known.
Okay, that makes sense. One last question
Mhm.
out of character before going back to the scene.
Mhm.
Did I know, like you mentioned earlier, that like Mark's character was going out to try to make this?
Yeah.
I just expected him to fail.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have went on searches before.
You're on mute.
Lost you.
Hello. What is happening?
You're still on mute.
I know. Hello.
If you didn't want to play anymore, you could just end the session.
Hello.
In Discord. There you go.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How about
Oh.
now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
That was super strange. It still said that my microphone was my microphone. This is a new. I got a new headset because my other one was so heavy it was hurting my neck when I had to wear it for 5 hours. And this one's connected, and I've never used one like it. But apparently, it just fritzed. Yay.
Yay.
Okay. You had a question. I'm
Oh,
trying
it
to-
was mainly just following up on the smart
Oh,
separate
yeah.
question.
Yeah. So, he had said, because you obviously were taking him around to these places where you've seen the hints too, right? You've seen the legends of where these recipes are before, but you didn't put two and two together that this one was also this one was also this one, and he used that information to find this recipe. So
I see. Okay.
so you were like, yeah, kid, go ahead and try, and I'll be here when you fail.
Gotcha. Okay.
He's been following you as your assistant and friend for 12 years. So, I mean, you were like, yeah, okay. I feel free. I've been there. Go ahead and search, and when you're done, come back. We'll have some spaghetti.
Okay. So perfect. Without expecting this as the final test, you brought that out, and then I guess we can go back to the scene.
Okay.
I'm just gonna carefully. Firebelly will like studiously kind of look, knowing what it is, but maybe unsure of exactly knowing that it's going to be this rare thing, but kind of suspecting that this doesn't look like the ones that I'm familiar with that I thought you were going to make for me. So I saw you demonstrate it, doing the thing. I'm going to...
Oh, I apologize. There was
Yeah,
a second. There was a second piece of information because you took a bite of the orange one.
Okay.
You have had a chronic knee problem for a while. Like, you don't know if it's your age or from when that horse kicked you like 2 years ago, but your knee has been in pain probably once or twice a week. And when you were walking around here in the restaurant, it was starting to kick up a little bit. You hear a pop as something in your knee shifts, and it doesn't hurt anymore after you ate that orange cake.
What did you find? How did you... I'm just in disbelief. I just kind of drop the fork.
I could not have done it without your help. It proves that the 7 recipes are real.
I knew there was some reason I grabbed you from that kitchen. But where? How? I didn't think it was real.
And now that we know they are, I must find them for us.
And I'll gesture over to the other two that you made. Well, I think this is it. This worked. And I'll look at the orange one. But what are these? What did you do?
It is my proof to you that I have learned the recipe, not the ingredients. It should do the same thing. I tested it 10 times.
And I've never seen this recipe. Like, this is news that he found it.
Okay, so let's break down. That's a good question. Let's break down mechanics real quick, okay? You are technically the same class as him, right? If I said you were a level 15 wizard and he was a level 1 wizard, technically you have the same spells he has, right? You would have access to the same stuff he has. So if we take that and apply it to this as well, you technically have recipes that can do what his recipe just did, right? You have an omelet that you can make that can heal people, right? Fluff wise. It's not an
Okay.
orange cake necessarily. Maybe it's an omelet or, I don't know, a tart or something. Um, uh, but his, for the purpose of this being a secret recipe, um, one second. For the purpose of this being a secret recipe, heals damage a little bit differently, but it's an ancient one, so that would be why. One second. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So, that's normally a cake like that Mark is eating right now.
Shh. Nobody was supposed to see that.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Um, that's great. Um, so you technically have the capability. Under normal circumstances, you can only heal damage that is was just done. But for the purpose of fluff, we're saying his cake healed an injury that was a past injury to show that it's an ancient recipe. But technically, you also, it's not like this is unknown magic. You also have a recipe that can heal people. It's just you've never heard of one that healed an injury from 2 months ago. It's always been injuries that are the last 12 hours or whatever.
Okay, so like I've never heard of it doing this. It's not something like I knew it could do but never found.
As it is an ancient recipe, you've done your research because you were looking for it too, and so it could be that that you knew it was stronger, or maybe that it did something a little bit differently, but you've obviously never encountered it because you've been searching for it.
So after taking the bite of the orange one, I'm a bit in shock. What is this recipe? Where does it hail from? Where did you find this? Can I see it?
And I will go back into the kitchen, get my cookbook, and bring it back out, and flip open and show it to you. And
So-
I explain
Sure.
the steps of chartering the boat, going to the island, finding where the shack was, digging up underneath the shack until I found the recipe. Actually, and then I'd probably tell it out of order and then go back to the port where we found the first clue at the vault, and then I extrapolated that this other book at a second vault had some more information about where the island was, and then retread the whole thing.
Him talking about that location, you knew that he hadn't gone far to find this recipe, but you didn't have details about it. Him explaining like more details about it, you're putting together the hints that he found, so you're kind of getting where that's coming from, and you maybe feel a little frustrated because you didn't see it, but amazed and proud because it's your apprentice, right?
How long has it been looking for this? I can't believe you found it.
It means the others are real. We must go and find them.
How you've put together what a These won't be easy to find, but this proves to me the last 12 years taking you under my wing was worth it.
I cannot thank you enough. Mercy.
Nourrit, please stand and take on your own and take this honor that you are relinquished as my apprentice, and I see you now as my peer, my equal, further so than I had. You are no longer, in my eyes, my pupil. You are my equal.
I hope that I am still a friend.
Nourrit, nothing can change that. You will always be my friend. I'm in disbelief. You did it. I thought It's you. I think you're the one that can do it. I think you can find them. I would love to help you in whatever way I can. It would be an honor.
I can never thank you enough or repay you for the kindness that you have shown me. But you have given my life a purpose. At first, I thought it was, well, at first I thought it was, I thought it was to make Master Thomas look bad. But now, I think it is something very different.
You are on your path, Nourrit. Take it. Run. Run and don't look back. Keep on this. This is beyond either of us. You can't let anything get in your way. Keep searching.
Swear to you, I will.
You will find them. I'm still kind of just in disbelief, looking down at the cakes. And
As you both stare into the fire that's in this common room of this fairly simple restaurant, eating small bites of this delicious, legendary cake, we pan back out through the fog-shrouded dark glass windows into the much louder night of Waterdeep. People shouting and carousing, and sailors getting ready to bed down for the night in the boats at the docks. Just raucous laughter over games of dice. We cut to, again, the sounds of violence. New sees 3 companions of the group that he had come in with. They are across the hall in a large room, broken and bleeding, but still alive, facing off a relatively, maybe medium-sized, like small to medium-sized Displacer Beast. This isn't a full-size Displacer Beast. Taking their lumps. And I'm gonna drop absolutely everything. Goodness gracious. Hope I didn't break anything. Ow. So let me set that up really quick. Okay, I have 3 NPCs in the Laughing Corpses chat. The Laughing Corpses chat, not the chat for this voice chat. It is a dwarvish fighter, a Goliath wizard. Goliaths are really, really tall and usually beefy. This Goliath is really, really tall but very thin, almost skeletal, and he's a wizard. Very wizard. And then I have a halfling rogue. Any that people don't necessarily want to play, I will run myself, so it's not a problem. But this is going to be less combat or less RP. You don't have to worry about trying to RP something, and it's they're in combat, and it's kind of roll some dice. So do I? And Firebelly isn't in this, so that means Justin, you could pick one of these if you wanted. Does anybody want to try one of these NPCs?
I'll do Nate the Blade if you want.
Okay.
I was looking at Mycroft,
Okay.
if that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah. Okay, and Mycroft is your Goliath wizard. Okay.
Yeah.
And you said you would be Nate the Blade.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I think he should have to announce himself like that and only speak in the third person.
Nate the Blade.
I
Nate
like
the
it.
Blade. I'm Nate the Blade. Nate the Blade's hungry.
Did I hear somebody say they were gonna take Durgle? Or is Durgle me? Durgle will be me. Okay. And let me grab that.
I'll play Nourrit.
Oh. He wasn't on that list, so
I know.
Too bad.
I'm gonna play a spectator this round.
okay. Where are you?
Shank wants to be the Displacer Beast.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yes, please. I'll make my character sheet for that right now. Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome. Anytime I make a pun, he wants to displace me. So
And you are here. Okay. Boop. Okay, so this is new. He is peeking around the corner, and the light is flickering somewhere over here because this is where the Goliath is. You actually can't see the Goliath right now. You can't see Mycroft right now. The Dwarven Durval Greybeard is right here. Nate the Blade is here. They're on either side of the Displacer Beast. And
I do have a quick question.
Yeah.
On the map, I see the wall to the south of me. Is that a wall protruding south as well?
this,
Yes.
there's an opening
couldn't-
here.
Right, but that is a wall there.
Yes, it is a small wall.
It's hard to tell from the extra added flair of the map. That's why I was asking.
Oh, okay. That's not a good one.
No, I got the idea. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't background aesthetic, that it was actually a wall.
Yeah, no, it's a wall. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Which
Okay.
would totally be why I can't see the mage.
Yep.
Okay. Do we need to roll initiative?
I have cards here for that.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. Then I'm just gonna randomly shuffle. We'll be doing initiative when we get into actual gameplay. Okay. I have 8 players, so I figured if I do index cards like this, I can
You have stopped moving on my screen. But there we go. Now
I
it's
can
moving
I
again.
can keep track of information from you guys on index cards and initiative. Okay. So we'll put one Okay. We are going to start with new.
So looking at them without looking too hard, which one seems worse for wear?
It seems like, as per usual, Durgle Greybeard has been tanking. He has been trying to keep the focus on himself so that the rogue and the wizard don't get hurt more. The two bodies that you passed
Mhm.
were Chained Alice, which is a tiefling cleric,
Okay.
and Hannibal Chase, which was a lizard folk ranger. And they and their stuff fell to the displacer beast already.
Okay.
Chained Alice, like Alice in Chains.
No, I got you.
Okay.
I got you. So can I ask a real dumb question that
Sure.
you and I should probably take offline later? But if I'm using the ladle in this week, shouldn't it be dex based instead of strength based? It's basically a ranged attack to try and throw food to people.
It says it's strength based.
Yeah, that's why it's got the much lower stats. And I'm like, well, I'm only going to be using it to chuck food at people.
I'm not sure why it has strength stats.
Me
No,
either.
it has.
That's why.
It has. I know why it has strength stats because it is acting as if you're throwing it. And when you throw something in D&D 5e,
it's strength
strength
based?
based.
Okay, that's where I was losing the plot.
You're technically using it as a tool, like a sling, which is why it
Right.
should be dex based. So
That's what I was
in
thinking.
the end, after this one shot, it's one of the changes we'll make.
Okay, sounds good.
But yeah, that's it should be dex based. It should be
Okay.
technically it should be finesse, but
Right, that's what I was thinking. So
Yeah.
that's why I was asking. But no biggie. Let's try and I assume that this what I made is meant to simulate the orange cake, right?
it's made to simulate what you would like. But I think orange cake is because of the flashback. I think that makes the most sense. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So then I'm going to try and get that to the dwarf from where I'm at. And I'll shout his name if I feel that it's going to hit him so that he can snatch it out of the air. Oh. Sorry. Oh yeah, that's not great. 8.
Come on, button. Open button. Are you charged? Let's find out. You are charged.
That's really cool.
Did you call out? Thank you. Did you
Yeah.
call out? Okay.
Yeah, I was calling out as I threw it.
So as you throw it, and this is for the purpose of this one shot. This isn't how this will probably be in the actual game, but it's because he's very familiar with you. Your throw goes wild, and
Yeah.
he puts his mace in the way, and it smacks into the mace, and like flattens over the course of the mace, and he brings it down and tears off like arr, and then goes to swing again at the displacer beast, eating the cake off of the mace.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Bank shot.
Bank shot. And you can see a tinted energy shimmering over some of the wounds in between his armored plates.
And I am going to sneak. Oh man, I don't know if I want to do that or not. I'm gonna move south 1 or southeast 1 square and peek around to the inside of the chamber there to the west.
Inside here?
Yeah.
You see that it looks like there had been at one point a set of chairs and a table, but they have collapsed a long time ago, and they aren't even difficult terrain. Like, that's how old and crushed they are.
Okay, so then I'm going to move 2 more to the south. Actually, I'll go south. I'll go 1 west. I'll duck into that area and be on the inside of that where it was. Yeah, right there. And I'll hold there. And that's my
From
turn.
here, you see the Goliath.
Yeah.
The very tall, almost skeletal Goliath.
Yes.
He, by far, is the worst for wear.
Okay.
He looks like he's barely hanging on.
Okay.
And it is now Nate the Blade.
All right. I will swing my daggers. I've never played a rogue before, so you have to give me some tips there. But I'm gonna attempt to hit the displacer beast.
Okay. So you're gonna get a +4 to hit with your. So you have 2 daggers, right? So
Right.
you can attack twice. The second hand isn't going to add dex damage because
Right. It won't get the +4.
right.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's the
It will
hit,
get
you
the
said.
+4, but it won't be doing like normally your damage is a die. So for daggers it's a D4, and if you were for your main attack it's gonna be D4 plus whatever your dex or strength is depending on the weapon.
Right.
If you're attacking with an offhand weapon, you can still attack, but you're not.
It just doesn't get the modifier.
That extra
Yeah.
modifier damage. Yeah.
Okay. I don't get like sneak attack or anything,
Oh,
right?
and you will get sneak attack. Yeah.
Okay. And it's a D20 for hit.
Yes.
D20 plus 4.
That's true.
That's an 8.
Well, maybe you'll do better on the second one. I believe in you.
Yeah. It's a 6 for the second one.
No.
Well, no wonder they're losing, Travis.
That's fair.
As Nate swipes twice, his blades go through a shimmering copy of the displacer beast, as it's
Right.
slightly to the right of where he thought it was. And now it is Tyler. So,
All right.
I have the spells listed that you have access to.
Yeah.
That
Flame bolt, shield, and magic missile, right?
Yeah, so that flame bolt is a cantrip, which means you can cast it as many times per day as you want. The other spells are level 1 spells, and you only have those 2 left, and only 1 casting of those 2 for the rest of the day.
I mean, in that case, I feel like I'll probably. Can I reach the beast from my current location with a flame bolt?
Yes.
All right, then that's what I'm gonna try and.
Okay, so that is going to be a +4 as well. So it will be
Okay.
your D20 +4 to hit.
Okay.
Because you're spewing fire forth from your hand.
Okay. Oh gosh, yeah, I got a 7 total. That's so rough.
Yes. Get all these rolls out of the way now.
Like
During the
Mark
one
said,
shot.
we're losing for a reason, right?
Yeah, I'm using a different D20 next time.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch after this. Actually.
That's unlucky. It's cursed.
Okay.
Ouch. I don't. All right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's all I got.
So
Unfortunately.
it's a displacer beast. Who rolls a 14, hitting Durgle. Let me go back. Is it Durgle? Yeah. Durgle. And the razor sharp claws come across his armor, and you hear a screeching sound as it claws on metal, but it doesn't seem to hit anything fleshy as it goes across him. And then you see one of the large, almost snake-like tendrils whip back behind in an arc, trying to hit Nimble. And a 17, which hits Nurgle. Nurgle.
Congratulations,
Nate
you've won Warhammer.
for six damage. And I need you, Nate the Blade, to